Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'll just give it a couple minutes, make sure everybody's here. Let me know if you're here. I can hear you. That you can hear me. I mean, is it okay? Can you hear me properly? I need to make gonna double check. Just getting everybody. And the sun just started to shine, which is beautiful. And thank you for being here. If you're here, just pop in, say hi, let me know that you are here. I'd love to hear from you. And I'm just setting up myself here so I can get a chance to see the comments. There we go. Turn myself off. I don't want to hear myself talking in the background. But let me see. Can I see the comments? If I go there. No. How did I do this the other day? I'm getting used to technology. It's not my biggest thing. Let me please know that you're here. I will do my best to see if I can get a hold of the comments. If you write any, please say your name and we'll get started right away. Thank you so much for coming here on this beautiful special day. Today is 2/22/2022. Did I say that right? I think so. Yes. Hi, Francesca. Thank you for being here and coming today. So our special topic is sugary sweet. Ooh. Yes, we'll just give it about maybe one more minute and see if anybody else is going to come in, and then we will get started right away. Yeah, we have a really special date today around the whole world, and we will never see this algorithm, this number pattern ever again, because we're never going to be in this space to catch it in this lifetime for us. And it's really special. The number two, as we can easily think about it, comes together with a pair and balance. So you can focus on that. And that's amazing right there. So just finding that balance in our lives, in our relationships with the people around us, finding balance within us, and you can even focus on finding balance within each inhalation and exhalation. That's always an option. So, once again, thank you for coming here. If you're just tuning in, please do say hi. I'd love to get the energy from you when you put some comments and put your words on the page, and I can see that and feel that, and I always get that energy, and then we move forward with that throughout the live. So please do say hello if you're watching the replay. Also awesome, do type in um, hashtag uh, replay, and then we can know that you're watching from a replay. Any comments, and I can still come back to help you and comment there. I think we just had a little bit of a delay, but I think we're back. So I'm going to get started. If you don't know who I am, I'll give you a little bit of introduction just in case if you are a first-time viewer or of that nature. So my name is Lori Voss Furukawa. I'm originally from Canada. I've lived overseas for the last 17 years, or lived abroad for the last 17 years. I am a nutritional empowerment coach. So I support compassionate people to become nutritionally empowered so that they can live a life they desire. Unlike other nutritional courses that are offered, my upcoming program offers healing on all levels. Without needing to buy into a product line, my clients learn lifelong tools to support them every day. And whether or not you're a specific client of mine, when you tune into things like this, you will also be able to reap the benefits of the information that I share from a TCM nutrition perspective. And it's really from a harmonious perspective and a holistic point of view that we need to move forward on for true healing. So last week I was offering you a beautiful session on soul love all week, which was really amazing. If you haven't checked it out, I recommend just taking a look at the videos in the Facebook feed from our Eastern Balance page. There was a lot of good information. We focused a lot on self-love, and also I did some nutrition in the kitchen as well. I gave a demo as well. So today we are coming here on this beautiful day, and I want to talk to you specifically about sugars. So my cat's in the kitchen. You might have just heard her meow. I might have to deal with her. I did feed her before starting this to try to avoid all problems, but cats are special. So let's see. Hopefully she can manage to just sit quiet in the background while I give this demo for everyone. Again, if you're just coming in, please do write your name and let me know so I know that you're here. Say hi. How are you doing? Love to hear from you. So Sugar, 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 sugar. I will tell you a little backstory about myself. So as a child, had an opportunity to eat an abundance of sugar. My parents did their best to have good food provided for us. We had a fresh garden, and they always had really good food for us when the meals were there. But unfortunately, there was also a lot of access to junk foods at parties, celebrations, when friends would come over, and there was always snacks available in the cupboards, or mom would make fresh cookies or different pies or cakes, stuff like this. So there was definitely an abundance of sugar in my life. Plus, we lived next door to my grandma, who treated her grandchildren so specially and provided them with all kinds of sugary treats. There was a bag of chocolate bars that was always full, a grocery bag full of chocolate bars in her fridge of all of our favorite kinds, and we could pick. Every time we went there, we could pick one chocolate bar that we wanted. We couldn't eat two, but we could eat one. Sometimes she let us take one home. You can imagine we were at grandma's house pretty much every day after school, and all the time that we could, because we loved being at grandma's house for many reasons, one of which was to have all this access to this abundance of food that tasted so good. There was also an abundance of like soda pop, or however you refer to this, these carbonated beverages that are loaded with sugars as well. We had all kinds of flavors at grandma's house, and we also had at our own house as well. Excuse me, as a child, I didn't drink a lot of water. I was mostly consuming sugary sodas, unfortunately. And in such a case, I was often sick as a child. Unfortunately, I remember many times like strep throat, bronchitis, whooping cough. Also, pink eye was something that I know kids get sick often, but I feel like when I look back and think about my childhood, I feel like there was lots of times I was sick. Now, there can be lots of reasons for that as well. However, definitely the amount of sugar that I was consuming and other unfortunate nutrition habits that I had in my life is definitely a huge factor and played a big role in the unhealthy, or the in the illnesses that I was attracting into my life. And as I grew older, actually as a child already, I had weight problems. As a young girl, like 5, 6, 7 years old, definitely starting to put a lot of weight around the midsection. I had a lot of extra weight also here. Even as a young child, it was fat on my arms, fat here, legs, all these places. Of course, fat accumulates, and I really felt that as a young girl. And it was, like I say, definitely contributory because of the choices that I was making as a young girl. As I grew older, I started developing chronic yeast infections. And if you're familiar, or if you're not familiar with yeast infections, basically the yeast doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, but when it's in overgrowth, it becomes an infection. And that means that we need to actually alter something inside of us to be able to counteract the overproduction of the yeast. And what contributes to that overproduction of yeast is actually sugar. That's the one biggest factor. And now, with all the TCM nutrition information that I have in my life, it boggles my mind how I went through high school days, university days, and beyond into my early 20s, suffering with chronic yeast infections that not one doctor told me or asked me what was in my diet or what needed to be done, how to change that. It was only always giving me a prescription to kill all the bacteria in my body so we would combat the yeast overgrowth of yeast infection. But that is a detrimental effect. It's basically like taking antibiotics, but there's different specific medication that can combat actual candida yeast infections that occur, unfortunately, quite common in a lot of women. So if you do suffer from something like that, look at your sugar content. Sugar is the biggest factor that is going to be a contributor. So like that kind of simple solution, just limiting your sugar, is huge. I used to drink a sugary powder mix of iced tea like it was going out of style. That was my go-to for everything. I drank that instead of water. I drank that all the time. That was my favorite drink. Of course, it tasted really good and it was really delicious, but it was loaded with sugar. And that was probably one of the main contributing factors, even as I grew older and maybe became more aware of, oh, I can't eat a chocolate bar every second day, but I still was basically drinking liquid sugar. And even I was watering it down. I came to a space in my life where I said, okay, I'm not going to drink it so strong. But those yeast infections were still always coming back. So we really need to think about and start to change our habits. If we are seeing reoccurring problems specifically, we need to look at what could be the factor. So that's my story, or part of my story, when it comes to sugar. And that sugar that I had from my life at the beginning was actually really something, it's an addiction. Sugar is really hard for a lot of people to overcome. And I have sympathy for people who have a hard time to eliminate it out of their diets. And I still do. I don't know if I so much necessarily crave sweets anymore, because I have been able to alter my taste buds and shift my perspective on what I want to put in my body. But the reality is, when we, oops, lost the train of thought. The key is to be able to have healthy sugars. Okay. Now, some people might say there is no healthy sugar, and that's okay too. I'm not here to argue with you, but there are healthier alternatives to white sugar that was very common on tables. If you would go to a restaurant to put white sugar in your coffee, or what was usually used in baking as well. This white sugar is one of the worst forms of sugar for us. So, some of the things to look for, I strongly suggest, if you are buying food from a supermarket that comes in a package, take a look on the label. If it's not part of your habit already, I really strongly suggest doing your best to look at the labels of the products that you buy and see where sugar is on the ingredient list. If sugar is in the top 3 places, put that item back on the shelf. Find a different one, because this is detrimental for your health. There is better options out there. You can still enjoy good food, and you can still have something to fill your sweet tooth craving, for example, or something to have for dessert without having to have it absolutely loaded with sugar. And now I say sugar, I mentioned earlier just like the white sugar. This is really bad, but unfortunately now companies have developed numerous kinds of different forms of sugar that are also equally or even more horrible for our bodies. These are all the different types of like high fructose corn syrups that are out there. So again, when you're reading labels, look for those kinds of syrups. I don't even know some of the names, because these names are not even words that I can sometimes read. So if you are unsure about a word, again, that's on that ingredient list, put the package back. That means it's not real food. That's real too, right? So again, if you're just coming in to view this video, please do say hi. I'd love to see who's here, and then we can, get the information. Also, if you have any questions about what I'm talking about, type them in the comments. I'll do my best to see what it is. And if you also have any, if you're not clear about what I'm speaking about, or if it seems confusing, also let me know, because I would love to provide more clarity for you so you can understand. And I apologize in advance. I get excited when I talk about nutrition, and I sometimes speak too quickly. I will do my best to speak slower so everybody can understand and be able to comprehend what I say. It's only because I'm passionate. I will do my best to rein myself in, I promise. So thank you for being here and listening to this and watching this video. It is really for the benefit of your health. So I was just giving a list of some of the really bad sugars that are out there. And when I say they're really bad, it's because they give our blood sugar level a complete spike. So we get like basically a high. We can say, lots of times people say, oh, my kids are high off the sugar. Haha, everybody's joking, laughing. This is a horrible thing. We don't want to put our kids in this space, because they get high. And if you have children and you've been in that space, you also see them crash and drop. and their behavior changes and they're moody and they're angry and they don't know what they want, because actually what they're craving is to get back to that high, the sugar high. So it's important to do our best if we can avoid that peak, or to get them, not allow them to get there. But of course, we're only humans and things happen. They could be at kids' parties and things are on the table and they're eating too much chocolates or whatever else. But it's again, we start with awareness. You can see the sun is shining here. It's a little bit bright right in the middle of my section, but at least it's not blinding me. The weather is absolutely wild here today. Snow, sun, rain, and wind like mad. I don't know, but here I am now. The sun is shining. So wonderful. Thank you so much for being here with me. Um, so yes, definitely start to check ingredient lists if you are not doing that already. And again, we're only human and we need to take a step-by-step approach, or from my experience, a step-by-step approach is the best way to get the results that we want. For myself, if I go cold turkey on things and I'm just never going to have that again, it might last for a little while, but usually these things creep back in. And to truly make a foundational change, we need to take it on a step-by-step approach. So we build that foundation and we get to this level and we integrate that, and we get to the next level and we're able to integrate that. And you see, now we're building this better foundational piece. So if sugar is really a part of your family's life or your life, start to take the steps by first reading labels, eliminating those products from your kitchen cupboards, and stopping to purchase them, really. So some of the things that I would recommend you to check for sure, if you have any condiments in your house, sauces, ketchups, mustards, these kinds of generic brands are definitely going to have sugars, high fructose corn syrups, all these yucky things that really don't serve our body at all. And actually, as I mentioned earlier as well, these flavors are addicting. And that's why the companies put them in their products. So we want more of them. We consume more, we buy more, and there goes the cycle. But actually, the worst part of it is it is affecting our health. So yes, take a look at ketchups, condiments, syrups, sauces, anything like this. Those are definitely things that you can take a look at. Any pre-packaged foods that you do buy, take a look at those as well. You can take a look at what's in your cupboards already, but definitely if it's already in your cupboard, it's kind of like it's already there. If you really feel like you want to throw it out, you can. I don't recommend necessarily just like throwing everything out of your kitchen, because that can be a bit extreme. If that works for you, fine. But I would recommend next time you go grocery shopping, start to implement the reading of label, the checking. What can I do? And even searching on the internet, if there is products like ketchup, for example, that you have in your fridge or in your house and your family enjoys eating, can you make your own? That's a really interesting space too. Sometimes these things are actually really easy to make a homemade version, and we can then monitor how much sugar we put in it. So we still might want that sweet taste in a ketchup flavor, for example, but we can monitor how much there is. And even following a recipe that says, for example, put in 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, try putting in 1. Put in half and then taste it a little bit and see, actually, maybe it's okay for me already. I don't need to still put in that full amount what they're requiring for this recipe. Bringing more awareness and really making those judgment calls on your own, not just blindly going ahead, is really what's going to bring us more awareness and better transformation in our body. If you're watching this, please do say hi. I'd love to know that you're here. Like I was mentioning already, I get the energy from you when you're here. How is this informative for you so far or not? Let me know. Type a 1 if it's information that you're enjoying to hear, and if it's resonating with you. Let me know. I'm really curious how it is. And if something is not clear for you, what I'm saying, if it's confusing or it doesn't make sense, or maybe you didn't hear me, type it in the comments as well. As hopefully I'll be able to see the comments. I'm doing my best to see that. So yes, I would love to hear from you. If something doesn't sound clear, let me know and I'll do my best to clarify for you. Hi Nina, nice to see you too. Thank you for coming to this video. So we've already been discussing a little bit sugar stuffs and the bad sugars and the reasons why we'd want to eliminate them, looking at reading ingredient labels. And now I want to give you the opportunity to have an idea of some of the more healthier types of sugars that we can use when we are doing more cooking in our own kitchen. So one of the ones that I came to really love and became a real big part of my life is when I was in the Philippines. coconut sugar. And coconut sugar, I have here. Now, this is in German, but this is it. It is just like that on the picture. It looks like a brown sugar. It's a little bit more, maybe thicker granulated than regular brown sugar that you can buy in the store and find in a lot of places. This coconut sugar will give your blood sugar the least spike. So this is, no, I'm not saying we should use this, and I'm not endorsing it. But if you feel like you still want to be putting some sugar in your cup of tea, for example, can you change it to coconut sugar? Is that a possibility for you? Can you find it in your area? I'm not sure. Do you shop online? It's definitely a healthier alternative of sugar. And also, it works well for baking. I did notice that it's not as sweet as other brown sugar sources. So again, if a recipe calls, for example, for 1 cup, put a little bit less, taste it, see where it's at. Because when we just dump everything in, it's hard to take it out after. So we can always add a little bit more if we feel like it's necessary. But definitely coconut sugar is a really, I would say it's one of the best options that we can move towards adopting and having in our kitchen. And you can get it in this granulated form, and you can also get coconut sugar in a liquid form, like a coconut syrup. It's more expensive, I believe, and it's harder to find. I don't think I've seen it around in the health shops here around where I live, and we do have quite an amazing selection. Sorry, I just have to have a sip of my water. And I apologize if you heard that water go down because my earbuds are close. I'm trying not to, I have to find my way around that. But anyways, if you're just viewing, please say you're here, say hello. I'd love to hear from you and see that who's here, and I get the energy of the people that are here, and then I can flow with the talk a little bit more and information comes to me because your energy is here also. If you're watching this on a replay, also you can type in hashtag replay. Still let me know that you're watching this, and any comments or questions. Thank you, Francesca, for saying that it's very informative. That's my goal for being here. I'm doing my best to try to inform people of making healthier choices because that's the best way to move forward. So yes, coconut sugar is definitely a good option for a substitute. If a recipe calls for even half white, some baking things or different stuff, it says like half white sugar, half brown sugar, I just put in coconut sugar. I don't need white sugar in my kitchen, and I don't need white sugar in my life, and I'm going to tell you the truth, neither do you. Sorry, hate to break your little heart, but it's the truth. We really need to start shifting these little tiny baby steps. They're going to help us to change our taste buds also. White sugar does taste much different than coconut sugar because it's ridiculously sweeter, which is why it affects our blood sugar levels so much more. So again, getting the information and making those informed choices is always the best way to move forward. Coconut sugar is good. I personally like also maple syrup. Um, Coming from Canada, yeah, people will say, haha, stereotype. But I'm going to be honest with you. In our house, we didn't often have maple syrup when I was growing up as a kid. Unfortunately, we had like, I don't know what it's called, Aunt Jemima's corn syrup. And at the time, that was okay. And we thought it was fine. That's what we ate with our pancakes, or that's what we had. Um, but I highly recommend if you're going to use a syrup in any of your sauces or any of your baking or cooking, certain things are better for using maple syrup. Or if you use it exactly on pancakes or something, go with maple syrup. If you have corn syrup or those kinds of refined other sugars in your kitchen, please use them up or just get rid of them. Some things are really bad and they really don't serve us at all. I see that Nina asked here, is coconut sugar okay for coffee or tea? Absolutely. Now, again, it might be a little bit different taste than what you've been accustomed to. Try it a little bit, and if it's like, oh, this is so horrible, I can't have that. Okay, I mean, go with what you really feel, but I strongly recommend, they say, I think it's like, I don't know, 8 times or something we have to try something if we really don't like it to get the taste buds. Maybe it's more. If anybody knows, you can correct me on that. I can't remember how many times where there's like this magic number we're supposed to try things that are going to help our taste buds get accustomed to the new flavors. But definitely, when I was still drinking coffee with sugar in it, and actually that was when I was in the Philippines, I absolutely used coconut sugar and it was fine for me. I liked it. I had no problem with it whatsoever. For somebody like my father, absolutely, he would not touch this and put it in his tea. he puts white sugar in. No matter how many times I tell him that's not a good thing for his body, he still goes after the white sugar. I'm not here to argue with you. I just want to tell you the information. But absolutely, coffee and tea, coconut sugar is a better option. You can also, not for coffee and tea, but for baking or any other culinary purposes, date paste. So it's just basically red dates. I can bring a little bit closer. You can see the red dates. They're very common in Asia, specifically China, and this is a syrup. So this is again is used for different baking or cooking products, and it's another good healthier alternative to the white sugar. We're just talking about different options of how we can sweeten different things and recipes you can play with. I also recommend if you are doing something in your kitchen and it comes across some ingredients that you might have a question mark on your head. Is this good? Or maybe you've heard me speak about it before and I've said, not to use this or suggested that it's not a good option. You can always look on the internet and just type in, substitute for white sugar. What's the options that come up? Or it's like 1 cup of white sugar. What's the next best substitute? I've already told you coconut sugar. But just to get you thinking and playing a little bit in your own space, the internet is really can give us a lot of help and opportunities for ideas when we come to substituting. And that's what actually really helped me when I lived in the Philippines, in China, and I started to make my first transition into becoming a healthier eater. And it was like, I can't find any of these ingredients in China. You're kidding, especially where we lived in a small city. So I really check the recipe, go to the internet, check again, what's a substitute for this, substitute. So, we just got to play around and be creative, which is something I really also encourage in anyone's kitchen. Just that creativity is quite fun, and it's amazing what we can create when we open up to that space. If you're here and watching, please do come say hello. Let me know that you're here. I see that Francesca asked, how about muscovado sugar? Is it a better alternative? Number one, I will say coconut sugar. Muscovado would be next, and muscovado is like a brown sugar that we would use in North America, or that we could see easily, or in Europe as well. I think it's just the specific plant that it comes from, perhaps, or maybe the name or how they use, like the scientific name of it. I'm not exactly sure, but yes, muscovado sugar is like this dark brown, brownish red almost color, but a dark brown color as far as my memory serves me. And I feel like I've only ever heard the name muscovado sugar when I lived in the Philippines. However, doesn't matter. Yes, it is still a better alternative than white sugar. Absolutely. That is the point. And I believe it's also cheaper than coconut sugar. So if you are feeling like you're on a budget, or if it's on sale, whatever, definitely you can get it, and using it for baking. I think the muscovado sugar has a little bit stronger taste, perhaps. You might notice that different taste if you put it in your coffee or tea. Again, can always experiment and see how it goes. It's up to everybody, right? If you're coming in, please do say hi. Yes, if you have any questions as well, please do feel free to ask them. Or if you need any clarity, I do my best to help you. So we have these 3 sugar alternatives already that can be used for sweetening different things that we're eating. And another one is actually raisins. Everybody knows what raisins look like. I don't need to. Oh, this is cranberries. Pardon me. Cranberries. Now, we know cranberries are a little bit potentially tart, but they can be also a little bit sweet. So these are dried ones. So just dried ones. That's another reality. When you're purchasing dried fruits, going back to the check your label or reading your ingredient list, make sure they don't have added sugar. Dried fruits do not need added sugar. This is not necessary, and just extra garbage calories that our body has to deal with, and extra sugar content that our body's the insulin, everything has to help and deal with. So yes, cranberries can be used also as a sweetener. Maybe if you're making like a granola or something, having these extra little natural sweeteners added, as opposed to so much, even if it's sugar like this, we can go more natural into a form of cranberries. And here I have the raisins, just a couple raisins again. Everybody knows, I think, here what raisins look like. Same thing. I like to add in raisins sometimes in my breakfast cereal kind of thing, like a porridge or something like that. So it's just like a little bit sweeter. It gives you that sweetness in there. So it's a nice alternative, again, than opposed to adding sugar, because I do also like sweet things. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I had I ate a lot of sugar when I was younger. So it still is a part of me, but I am adjusting and adapting to how I can find healthier alternatives. Is palm sugar better than white? Nina asked. Yes, palm sugar would be similar to muscovado sugar, and I believe it's basically a red sugar or a brown sugar. Muscovado, palm is also similar, dark color, if that's right. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure palm sugar again it comes a darker color when you buy it. Again, there can be, when it's refined, it might be a lighter color. The refined we also want to move away from, because once things become more and more refined, we're moving farther and farther away from the natural part of the plant. And what's really interesting is, in Asia specifically, you can get fresh palm sugar juice, right? Or sugar cane juice. So they have the sugar canes and they put it through like the basically like a press, and then out comes the juice. This is actually healthy for us because it's coming directly from the plant source, and it actually has health benefits for us. Again, everything in moderation. I'm not recommending going and just taking this back. Lori said it's good, I'm going to drink it like crazy, right? Absolutely not. I see my Facebook timer is coming up on here again. I'm going to have to turn that off because it might interrupt our feed. I don't know if I'll be done in 5 minutes. Anyways, I apologize if it interrupts. I will be back here in just give me a couple seconds to arrange that. So, yes, we want to move as far away as possible from really refined products in general. So definitely palm sugar, when it's as close to the source, is the best. Like I say, the pressed fresh juice that you can find mostly in Asia is very good actually for us, and it has medicinal properties. Again, like I say, in moderation. And if you're buying it in a package from a store, just like I said, I'm pretty sure it's also a brown color, because I think actually all sugar is naturally a brown color. The refined process is what we get the white from. Same like if we were to make flour, it would naturally have a brown color to it. We refine, my tongue is tied. We refine these types of products in order to make them white, because I don't even know. I don't know if it's like some white supremacy something or whatever happened back in like 60 years ago when they started refining everything to make things look more white or what. But anyways, no, 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 get away from that. Go away. So these are some beautiful natural sugar sources that are available for you and that can be easily used into your cooking or baking or buying habits as well. And again, we must use everything in moderation. Just because I'm saying it's a healthier alternative, it doesn't mean you can have a cup of this a day or this or any of these. We still need to be careful with our consumption amount. But exactly as Nina questioned earlier, if you're having your cup of tea and you want to put a little bit of sugar in it, definitely I would recommend something like this. It's okay. And the last, easiest, and absolute best source of sugar for our body is fruits. Natural sugar is in here. This is the kind of sugar that we really want to eat, actually. I mean, we really want to eat. Again, we need to have in moderation. If we're just eating apples all day, it's going to give us a problem with too much sugar. But the sugar that is naturally occurring in fruits is what's the word? It's easier for our bodies to absorb and digest. And I say actually easier to absorb, but actually because of the fiber that is in the fruit, it allows the sugar to have a slower spike going in, and it doesn't have such a like peak when we have in the white sugar and then have that crash. This is more of a gradual increase and it comes off. So we do get lots of beautiful energy from eating natural sources of sugar like fruits. But we need to be careful. I would suggest having no more than one piece of fruit a day. So if you have one apple, good. Now you had an apple a day. And that's a really beautiful way to get also natural fibers in your diet, natural sugars, and also there's other minerals and vitamins that come in fruits as well. And yeah, it's a healthy snack. It really is. And it was interesting. I noticed when we moved to the Philippines, I knew that I was at the very beginning of going there, I knew that I had a problem with sugar in my diet already. And when we got there, I said, "Oh my God, there's so many beautiful tropical fruits. I love the tropics. There's like pineapple and mango and like bajillion different types of beautiful bananas and just all kinds of beautiful things that, seasonally are coming through the year. These beautiful tropical fruits, just so delicious. And I realized as I was consuming mangoes or whatever fruits, having a daily kind of piece of fruit, my my sugar craving was diminishing because I was getting it from a better natural source, as opposed to having even these other like healthier alternatives that I just spoken about in the video. The naturalness of this was shifting my taste buds and shifting something internally in me that said, oh, I want to have that mango. And actually, mango is very high in sugar as well. So do be careful if you are eating mango, how much are you eating? Because a mango can be pretty big. So, if it's a whole one a day, that might be a bit much. I think, again, it depends. If it's a smaller one, maybe half a mango, or papaya is another good one that, but eating it when it's in that whole form really gives our body, brings in the balance. And that's what we need, balance. And that comes back to our special day today with 2/22/22 and how we want to focus on balance.
Okay, I hope everybody, are we still together? I apologize for that, sincerely. I will do my best to not have this happen to us in the future. So we want to have balance, and we want to think about healthier alternatives and do our best to still enjoy food. It's important that we still enjoy what we eat, but we just have to retrain our taste buds basically, and also our mind, because like I say, actually sugar is really an addictive substance. And it is, if you're drinking soda drinks, Coca-Cola, or these kinds of things, they are so jam-packed with sugar, and they really do keep us coming back to them. So when we can start to remove that and start to replace with some healthier sugars, some healthier alternatives, having more beautiful things that really serve our body, we will start to reap the health benefits from it. Yes, so let me see. One other factor that I didn't mention earlier, sugar is a main factor in cancer causing and cancer producing, and actually in any illness and disease producing. It really, because I had mentioned at the beginning of the video also, or not because, but I had mentioned at the beginning of the video about yeast infections and the connection to sugar. So that's basically the same thing. The sugar is feeding the bad bacteria within us, and that invites disease in, because when we feed the bad bacteria, the good guys have a harder time to fight, and they can be easily attacked by all the bad ones. So we want to be aware of that. If you are a cancer patient, if you have recovered from cancer, if you know anybody who has cancer or is a recovery cancer patient or in remission, anything like that, I strongly suggest to let them know softly that if they are still consuming sugar or large amounts of sugars, to try to limit that as best as possible, because it's really the benefit for them. And too much sugar is really not good for us. We've got into an age today where we just have sugar everywhere, and it really doesn't serve us. We want to try to move that out as much as possible. So even, like I say, if you are doing your own kitchen cooking, there's lots of healthier alternatives, and that's the best way to move forward. If you have any questions, we're going to wrap it up right away. Let me know. I'm so happy that you guys are here. Thank you so much for being a part of this. So as I mentioned a couple times already, you might have seen in some of my posts or seen on different places where I posted about my upcoming program. I see Terry. Thank you. You're welcome, Terry. I'm really happy to see you here as well. If you have seen any of my previous posts, I have an upcoming nutritional program, and I'm really excited to offer it to this community. And I've been working on some of the bonus content recently, and I wanted to share a little bit with that with you. So I have a couple different things that are really cool. As you could see, I'm really excited about offering them. So one of them is a complimentary call that we're going to clean out your cupboards together. So we will take time to go through some of your cupboards and look through. It'll be a private call that is option for you if you're interested to take that. So we can get the cleansing done before we start the program, kind of thing. So when we start the program, you can just be ready to move forward. Then we have also, I will be doing one distant Reiki healing session a month, which will be, again, if you want to take part in it, you can and enjoy the distant healing. And if it's not something for you, you don't have to have it either, but it's available for you to have that healing. I have also a yoga sequence that I'm going to include as a bonus content as well. It's one of my beautiful power sequences that I developed. It's not super long and it doesn't require a lot of time. I usually take about 20 minutes to do it, 25 minutes, maybe 30 minutes max, depends how much I want to put into it. And doing it regularly really does make a difference for your body, for your awareness, stress relief, and strength building. And also, I will be including a beautiful weekend detox program, because all the information I'll be giving through the program will be really to enhance our life force. But I also know that it's important that we have the ability to detox our life, detox the garbage from our life, so we can have a cleaner slate to get higher up again and again, build that foundation. So there's a couple bonuses that are going to be available in my upcoming program. I see here that Terry asked a question. She said she missed the beginning. It shouldn't be a problem. Once I'm done the live, I think then it just will upload on the page and then you can go back and watch the beginning. Is unpasteurized honey okay? Good question. Yes, I would recommend also honey as opposed to regular white sugar, definitely. Although honey is an interesting topic, because we have seen recently a lot of decline of the bee population because of the chemicals that are being used on a lot of the fields nowadays. That's unfortunately negatively affecting the bees. So there's a reality that we need to be careful when we purchase honey from the supermarket shelves that it is real, because there's a lot of fakers out there. And I'm not really sure, honestly, how to tell if the honey from your store is real or not. There might be some things on the internet that you can tell. I have read some things like how it burns, like if you put a lighter by it, the high fructose corn syrup stuff that can be labeled as honey, or maybe it has like partial honey and partial high fructose corn syrup, which is common, unfortunately, and labeled as honey. It burns differently than pure honey. But I'm not entirely sure, and please, if you do such a test, do so safely and be responsible. If you are buying honey from a farmer, a local beekeeper, this is better, definitely, because you know the person, and also supporting the local economy is always something that I support as well. Now, also, what is an interesting fact about honey? Thank you so much for bringing it up, Terry, because honey is very medicinal. It has a lot of antibacterial properties for us and can really help our body. If we're having it on a regular basis, it's kind of like our body gets used to it. Is what we want to do, or what I would recommend, is saving honey for when we are feeling a little bit unwell and use it more as a medicinal purpose. Because of also the reasons that I've all just mentioned, but like you say, you're getting it from a local source, which is good, but really focusing on using the honey as medicine, because from a TCM nutrition perspective also, we really think about food as our medicine as well. And like I say, honey is so potent and so medicinal. It's good if we can kind of keep that antibiotic, the natural antibiotic, on hand for when we're really going to need it. And also we have to be careful when baking or cooking with honey. There's different reports or studies that show actually it comes out of more specifically out of Ayurvedic studies. So this is from the traditional medicine from India, that when honey is heated to a high temperature, it actually has toxic properties that is emitted in for our body. So we need to be careful with that. I don't recommend cooking or, like I say, baking with honey, even though there's recipes that call for that, and there's sometimes there are health people that will say, yes, use it. Be mindful, take a look on your own. You can do some research, and like I say, it's Ayurvedic, or this kind of traditional Indian medicine that we will get that information from, where it says that heated honey is actually toxic for our body. So even, I don't know to what temperature it is, but it's possible, even like if you would have a hot cup of tea and you put honey in there, maybe because it's already below 100 degrees Celsius, because the water's boiled and now you've made the tea and you put it in your cup, of course it's dropped a couple of degrees, maybe it loses that toxicity at that temperature space. But if you're putting it, like I say, into the oven for baking, I'm quite confident it's not recommended. You can do a little bit more research for yourself. I don't know fully about it because I don't use it that often, because I really do have honey in my cupboard, but it's really for medicinal purposes. If I'm feeling unwell, I'll take a little bit then. And usually I do mix it with a warmer water. I'd be careful not to go too hot. Just because I haven't done the research myself, but I know I just keep it a little bit lower. And then I also can even just take a spoon of honey like that, or something as well. That's good. Yes, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your questions. I really love the interaction and being able to provide you with any insight that can help you to make healthier choices on your day-to-day living, cooking, baking, buying, all those things. It's really amazing when we can start to make these changes, and when we can see the benefits in our life and the benefits that our family can see as well. So thank you so much for coming here today. If you are interested in getting more information for my course, you can send an email, comment on this video, or send me a private message on Facebook as well. If you're interested to send an email, you can send it to ninalaurie@easternbalance.org, and Nina's name has 2 letter I's in it. Yes, I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for being here, and I will do my best to be coming back next week, also on Tuesday. I'm going to try to do Tasty Tuesdays live, because I think it's important when we can have this good information to share with each other. So thank you so much for being here. Take care, and wishing you a beautiful day on this Tuesday, the 22nd of the 2nd month of the year, and the 22nd year of this century, of the 2000s. I said that kind of funny, but you know what I mean. Thank you again. You're welcome, for everybody, for the questions and for the answers that I provided for you. Take care, and we will be in touch. And thank you. Bye-bye.